this week, the Neepawa Town Council passes its 2025 financial plan, reports on incoming grants for services and projects, and shares some updates on this year's road rehabilitations. Councillor Jason Nadeau catches council up on the last couple of months of his meetings, including some new statistics from the regional library showing that circulation has been increasing month over month. He also reports from Westlake Employment that they want to ensure residents understand that internationally trained nurses must still meet Manitoba's requirements to practice here, even if they are certified somewhere else in Canada. So it doesn't benefit them to get a quicker certification from another province. There was a workshop held recently to help people navigate this process, but there is still some misinformation floating around that Westlake is trying to correct. The Rossburn Subdivision Trail Association has been approved for a $15,000 grant to help maintain the trail, which will take some of that burden off member municipalities, including Neepawa, and have applied for another grant that will allow them to plant potentially thousands of trees along the length of the trail. Of course, that trail runs right through here and down to the Saskatchewan border. Councillor Yvonne Sicily gives notice to the public that day camp registrations open next week, on Monday for full week registrations and Wednesday for single day, and that May 30th is Spring Trail Cleanup Day. Residents can contact Neepawa's Rec Department at recreation@neepawa.ca to sign up. And finally, Councillor Marika Kosenchuk shares a report from Home Assistance Neepawa District. Their volunteer income tax program will be running until May 2nd, and there will now be a foot care clinic in town on a regular basis. Seniors can contact Michelle Ferguson at 204-476-2009 for more information or to book a spot.
Well, I've got a couple reports I'll try to condense for everyone. So on March 19th and April 10th, WMRL meeting, just to share some stats. In February, our library had 1,590 items circulated out of our library. And in March, it went up drastically to 1,992, almost 22 to 24%, somewhere in there. So that was really nice to see. Some of that we're thinking has to do with our new counters that are installed in the library now. So that's good too, to help promote our circulation of residents entering our libraries. To give you an idea though, we have a lot of stuff going out in our entire region. Over 10,000 items are being taken out electronically through our e-libraries. So even if residents aren't in our physical building, they're there using our services. 445 DVDs, and that was in the month of February. So that alone, over 10,000 engagements that way throughout the whole region, which is kind of nice because it gives people access without having to go to the physical site. So definitely some really neat things. We're preparing as a library group also for the minimum wage going up to $16 an hour in October, which is always nice to kind of start seeing too. That's a 20-cent increase from what it's currently. Our 2024 annual report was released, so it's online. If anyone wanted to look online, they can easily go to the WMRL website and click on the annual report, and they'll see the 2024 summary report. We finished our strategic plan for 2025 to 2029. So in there is that bookmobile. However, the goal is to have it by 2029 now, because our grant fell through that we were going to be able to get a vehicle. So unless we can convince one of our community dealerships possibly to be sponsored, we'd be willing to put advertising on it. So I understand that's an option, but to have one of those vehicles, that's something that we're still trying to pursue as a board, and we'd love to see it way before our expected date. A couple of the other things to talk about is we really had good success with BP, the performer. So we've already booked now Dana Church and Marcus Cutler, two children's authors, to be visiting Neepawa this month, I guess, coming up here over the next couple weeks. And our Dungeons and Dragons group was mentioned in our local paper, which is really nice. We had 200 plus new library cards from the elementary school when they visited our school recently too. So that's nice to see our cards go up. And lots of great other ideas are being shared of what's happening in other libraries, with a lot of information being shared about AI and how phones are being used, especially with some of our younger patrons and our older patrons. So AI is becoming really big, and we do have a policy, the WMRL for AI, and lots of organizations now are shifting to these AI policies. Another meeting to share with you is just the Westlake meeting that we had March 19th and April 10th. We really have been correcting people on the internationally educated nurses info session. Just there's a myth that if you go to a different province, you could write the exam there, then come back here and be gifted that accreditation. But if you come back to Manitoba, you're still required to do the 450 hours that are needed to be part of our province. So it doesn't benefit you to go and try to get that certification in another province and then return here. So we're trying to help support people in that way. We've been still working with our partnership of settlement services for training class 1 truck drivers. So we've opened our classroom up to work with them to allow that. So we're doing as much training as possible locally so that people don't have to go all the way to Brandon. We're also, like Westlake is willing to coordinate a new training center or system to possibly work with the town and with Maryland especially is the one I suggested they contact, just to coordinate if there is a gap, and ACC is connected with us, so is the province, where they might have some sort of session that could be run in between our nursing program trainings. So if there is that space available, or if we can somehow work together, definitely Westlake's looking to help support that too. So those are some really good things for those two groups. Met with the trail, RSTA, and just the last time we were at council, about a month ago, we actually supported the MOU. And just to let you know, 4 different communities signed it and submitted it. We were one of the 4. 3 were just lagging a little behind, and they were planning on signing. So I would suspect right now 7 have signed, if I had to guess. 2 though didn't sign, and they had concerns about insurance. So they've actually requested a delegation to come and present more information. So that's something we've already vetted, and we kind of understand that there's no change, it's just more different. One thing that came out of that meeting, which is interesting, is that the tree planting grant, which is about the 2 billion tree grant, and really neat to hear how other communities, you have to apply for a minimum of 50,000 trees, but they never give you 50,000. So communities like Russell applied and they got like 20 or 50. So even though you apply and you have to accept the minimum amount, you can actually get a smaller amount. So that could be something where we look to help support our trees. You have to plant them along the trails and stuff, and we have a lot of good trails in our community, so something to look for. We did get approved, the trail group got approved for $15,000 to help maintain our trail system from here to the border, the Saskatchewan border. That being said, one of the things for that $15,000 goes towards helping support the cutting of the trail. So our communities will not have to pay for the cutting of the trail again. We rent a mower, and we've purchased our own the mowing attachment, but we rent a tractor, sorry. However, we heard from New Holland, and guess what? The rentals come from Neepawa, so it's really benefiting Neepawa. New Holland said they cannot provide us with a tractor this year. There's just none available, and it comes back to those tariffs and stuff. Like getting access to equipment is a challenge for businesses. However, I just heard today that we have received notice from one of our other local dealers that they do have a tractor available. So I think in the near future we'll find out that we are able to get that tractor. So it's always nice to see. We had a justice meeting April 10th, and we had an AGM and a regular meeting, and really good meeting to kind of see how we're doing really good. There's 45 justice committees in the province of Manitoba, and we're seeing a huge number now of cases getting referred to our committee here, which is really good. So we're helping support justice and local justice, which helps support having a little more ownership of all those different things and help support people to stay on the right track. That's all my reports for today.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Anyone else? Councillor Cicely. I have a much smaller report, just numbers on mine. So day camp registration opens up April 28th at 9 a.m. and that's for the full week registrations. And then April 30th, sorry, at 9 a.m. for the single day registrations. Forms can be found on neepawarecreation.ca. There's so far been 412 swimming lesson registrations, 300 campground bookings. We also have some first aid courses coming up. There's 2 first aid recertification courses, April 24th and 25th. First aid course, May 3rd and 4th. And we're going to have a spring trail cleanup day on May 30th. And if you're wanting to sign up, please contact Cass at neepawarecreation.ca.
Excellent. Thanks, Dawn. Select Austin.
Yes, I just have the monthly report from HAND. The community meal program is going well. There's between 20 and 21 meals per day that they offer. And that's not including the 50 meals each month that they do for the senior social afternoon, which is going very well.
Yeah, those meals are a big hit for the
Yeah,
social.
really going very well. The community volunteer income tax program is running until May 2nd. There's been 55 clients so far have utilized the service, thanks to some great volunteers there. A foot care clinic will come on a regular basis at the quilting room of the drop-in center. I hope I say her name right. Chera Gross, she's an LPN from Wheat City Foot Clinic, is offering diabetic foot care, preventative screening, lower limb assessment, as well as medical pedicures, offering direct billing to Blue Cross and Veterans Affairs. She was there on the 14th of April, and she will come back on a regular basis. And you would just phone Michelle for bookings at 476-2009. And there's an invitation to council to attend our AGM Friday, May 30th at 11 a.m. at the Evelyn Inn.
The only surprise Manager of Operations Denise Sakay has in store at this meeting is that this year's potholes are not quite as bad as last year's. The Public Works team is already patching where they can with cold mix, which requires the pothole to be cleared and dry. And the asphalt patcher will be arriving on May 5th. The town has leased the patcher for approximately 3 months this year, with a 6 to 8 week session in the spring and the remainder of the time in the fall. While the town looked at purchasing their own patching machine, the cost is over $500,000, so it didn't make it into this year's budget. The staff will also begin doing manual hot mix patching starting soon. The department has also applied for nearly 600 trees through a free distribution program that staff will be planting around town this summer.
Thank you, Mayor Heather. So obviously we're in kind of into pothole season, which it doesn't seem too bad out there, honestly. As much as people want to say, it's not as bad as last year. Nonetheless, staff have been busy with cold mix. So that's the precursor to a final patch, something we can get in the hole real quick. But even with cold mix, you have to ensure that it's kind of somewhat clean, no ice, no water, all that stuff. So at least we get some form of bond. The asphalt patcher, which I call a puker, is slated to show up for May 5th. We've done it, I've booked it essentially in 2 sessions this time, so we'll do a spring session, and then if we still need to, we'll do the balance of the time we've allocated for the fall session, because the weather's different, soils, like streets are different, there's different holes to patch. So we have the first 6 to 8 week books, like I said, starting May 5th, with a residual at the fall if we need it. And then same thing, once we start hot mix patching, we'll start that as soon as we can. I was in the yard today, and there's still a bunch of pile of cold mix, so we can still, like I said, tackle stuff as weather permits. We had a bunch of new staff come in. We've also managed to apply for all their temporary certifications, so they've got all OIT status, so everyone's up to date right now, and then we have a few certification updates in queue as well with the province. They're just waiting to hear on those. We've got ongoing training as well. So 2 most recent ones will be going for wastewater treatment 2 in a couple weeks. Summer staff are slated to start May 5th. The new well project is ongoing. We're kind of on a pause a little bit, but we'll follow up on that. I was speaking to our consultants and water services board, and we'll do a 1-year review for the Highway 16 water project. Because the 1-year warranty is up time, so we'll go out there, we'll test everything, make sure everything's up to snuff and working and functioning just before, so we can sign off on that project, and it's all ours. Nice to know that I did receive the draft tender documents for my review today, and that's for the Hamilton Street extension. So SBC provided those, so I'll spend this week reviewing those, go through it all, and see if there's any changes I want to make to that project. And then once I know that, I think we've got a meeting scheduled for next week already, so then at that point I'll be able to provide you with an update as to when it's going to tender, when we anticipate close, all that stuff. So that'll be next council meeting, we update them. And as Councilor mentioned, the 2 billion tree program, I applied for 580 trees for Neepawa. The program I applied through is 100% free of charge. I believe they even cover the delivery to us as well. So I'm still waiting to hear if we're successful in the 580 application or not, but we did apply for a hefty amount of trees this year as well.
There are several small pots of money coming in this month, according to CAO Colleen Sinchishin. The town's biannual recycling rebate from the Department of Environment and Climate Change will come to just under $13,000 for the period between July 1st and December 31st. As well, the town will be receiving $1,250 for the trail improvements on the Trans-Canada Trail. The Department of Transportation and Infrastructure has sent $4,800 of support for maintenance of the airport for 2024. And Sinchishin says that will be doubled in 2025. However, neither amount comes close to the actual cost of maintaining the runway. A lowball estimate for preventative maintenance to extend the life of the airport would be about $300,000, and realistically would run to about $600,000 for a proper resurfacing, plus a substantial additional cost for lighting that could run to more than $1 million for the runway.
Colleen, correspondence.
First, the Minister of Environment and Climate Change, just to let everybody know that Neepawa was approved for a recycling rebate for July 1st to December 31st as part of the Waste Reduction and Recycling Support Program, and the amount being $12,778.76. Next, we have from the Trans-Canada Trail, our application to the Spring Trail Care Program for 2025. We were successful and approved for a maximum funding of $1,250 to use for trail improvements. Then from the Home Assistance Neepawa and District, briefly mentioned before by Councillor Kostenchuk, we have an invitation to attend their annual general meeting Friday, May 30th at 11. So I would need to know who would be available to go. Yvonne, are you going, Marika? Anybody else?
The funeral on Monday.
So 2 for sure, we'll let them know. And then the second part of their correspondence is just making sure council is aware of some issues that they have at the Yellowhead Manor, where Manitoba Housing is advertising the Yellowhead Manor as an affordable senior housing. Yet increasingly over the last number of years, the type of clientele that get positioned into this facility are creating an environment that is becoming a little bit threatening to people that live there and unsafe. And information was sent into the province to hopefully bring to the attention of the province what is happening at the Yellowhead Manor, and that if they're, not that these people can't live here, but there has to be better focus and attention given by the province of Manitoba to making sure the supports are available so that, every resident in that facility can feel safe and secure. So that's kind of the summary of that one. And lastly, we have from the Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure, just notification that we received $4,800 in support of the continued maintenance and operation of the Neepawa Municipal Airport for the 2024 calendar year. And for the public, $4,800 is lovely, but it doesn't anywhere come close to covering expenses out there. My understanding is for the year 2025, this will double to $9,600, but even that is still reasonably low, and it's chewed up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We've priced what it's going to cost to resurface and extend the life of that facility, and we're talking about $250,000.
Yeah, low budget would be $300,000, and that's essentially preventive maintenance work. If we were to do an actual proper mill it and fill it, we'd probably be $500,000 to $600,000.
Lighting alone, we estimate greater than $1 million to do the lighting for the runway. So, yeah.
It's lovely.
Yes.
It'll help move some snow.
Yeah, yeah.
As for money going out, the town will be purchasing a new mower, which was a budgeted item in 2024. While tariffs were already becoming a factor in finding a replacement mower, Public Works did find one already located in Manitoba that came in under budget after trade-in of the old mower.
Okay, new business, we have an equipment purchase. Denise, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so this is the budget item we have within this year's financial plan. And again, similar to the other case, we're a little bit worried about tariffs and increases on materials and products out there available. So we're trying to find, this was an item from last year, but we just didn't go ahead with the purchase. We kind of held back on the budget to ensure everything balanced. So I pushed in this year, and speaking to all the salesmen, they all kind of have the same apprehension. So a lot of them do have models, either a 24 model, 25 model, but sitting in Manitoba, so we wouldn't be tariff dinged. But they can't guarantee those. That's why I pushed the purchase brought up. Required 4 different scenarios for models. We requested diesel, so the only one that was kind of non-compliant, but we did have staff go demo it to give it the merit of it, with the Cub Cadet, again from locally here. But staff just didn't think it had the power that they wanted, so then we eliminated that one out of the process. So we got Toro, John Deere, and Kubota, and then John Deere model in the 24. And it came in under budget actually. We had like 25 in our budget this year for it, so we're under there. So yeah, my recommendation is to go with John Deere. Staff had gone around and checked all these. They had no problems with any of the machines. It's just the Cub Cadet was the only one that they just specified. Didn't feel it would work well with them. So.
Okay, any questions?
I'm gonna remove my just the appearance of conflict, even though there is no conflict.
Okay, Councillor Gerard removed himself due to appearance of conflict. Okay, be it resolved that we approve the purchase of a John Deere Z970R mower from Enns Brothers for the net total of $18,618.64 plus GST, which includes the trade-in of a 2013 Kubota. Moved by Deputy Mayor Parrott, seconded by, Councillor Sisley. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
The town's 2025 financial plan was reviewed in a separate meeting, so all there was to do at the town council meeting was to approve the plan and pass first reading of the bylaw that would allow the town to collect taxes according to the formula outlined in the financial plan.
Also, we just reviewed the 2025 financial plan. Was there any additional questions there? Seeing none, be it resolved that we hereby adopt the 2025 financial plan. Moved by Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Councillor Kostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
So bylaw 3234-25, the levy of taxes for 2025, you all have that in front of you. This is just the bylaw that compiles all the information that in support of the financial plan you previously had a public hearing for and approved. So this will be first reading to allow us to proceed into the process to levy taxes.
Okay, any questions? If not, be it resolved that bylaw number 3234-25 being a bylaw of the town of Neepawa to levy taxes for the year 2025, to provide for a tax due date and to provide for late payment penalties now be read for the first time. Moved by Councillor Kostenchuk, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Also covered was correspondence from hand inviting the town to their AGM and making sure they are aware of issues around resident safety in Yellowhead Manor, which NACTV will be following up on later this month. You can view end-to-end coverage of the council meeting elsewhere in the NACTV schedule or on our YouTube channel. If you have any comments or questions about these items or other topics related to the municipal government, please contact us at 204-476-2639 or by email at nactvnews@gmail.com. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.